All right, guys, as you saw in our last video that my wife and I, we put these hoops up here. Today, what we're going to work on is we're going to put this center purlin in. So I'm going to show you exactly what we need to do with that. So in the kit with this 100-foot tunnel, you have approximately 18 of these ridge posts that you're going to put in. So you notice, like we talked about before, everything's got a swagged end on this. So you notice this is compressed. This is what they call a swagged end. This is a fit for that other pipe. So you want to push this in just like this, and then you want to put a screw into it, a Tech screw, and then that will hold that piece together. And make sure when you put your Tech screw in, you put it into the piece that's not swagged, so that way you make sure that it goes into the piece behind it. If you don't, you're not going to get that connected. So you just want to put a screw in, and it doesn't really matter where you put the screw while you're on the ground, but when you put this purlin up, you want to make sure this screw is facing down. Once again, it's just like everything else. If you put the screw facing up and you put the plastic on this high tunnel, it will rip that plastic, and that plastic is very expensive. So you want to make sure that you don't do that. So I'm using just an impact gun here. Simple as that. Now everything's held together, so all we've got to do now is put this up. Okay, guys, as you see, we're on the end post here. You want to make sure it's the non-swagged end at your end here. When we put these poles in, these, of course, you can see that these do have a lot of movement into it, side, and front and back.
Pancake front and back, side to side, and all that.
So what we're going to do is we're going to put this purlin bracket up, and we're not going to tighten anything totally tight yet. That way it gives us a chance to look at this from a distance, judge how the hoops are laying, and then we can tighten those bolts and cord to make this thing as straight as possible. But there's two different types of brackets, of course. There is the end bracket here, and then there is what they call the purlin bracket here, and we're going to use that on the next set of poles. All right, so we've got our end brackets here, so we're going to put that together. What we did is we went ahead and I put one of the other brackets up just to hold this pipe up, and you want to make sure, it may sound right in the real world to put all this pipe together. It's going to be hard to try to hold up 100 feet of pipe. So what we did is we did a 12 to 16 foot section, which makes it manageable by two people. Got my buddy on the other end, he's got the other piece, he's holding it up, and I've got this piece here. So what we are going to do is we are going to put this bracket on. All right, we've got this bracket in. As you can see, we've got the pole held in with another purlin bracket, which is this one right here. And I'll show you how to put that one on here when we get to the next setup. But this is a very specific bracket for the end, so it keeps this pole inward, so that way it doesn't punch through the end wall. So what we're going to do is we're just going to tighten this up. Just going to snug this thing up to hold this pole, and then we are going to put a Tech screw through here to hold this purlin pole into the purlin bracket. And once again, you kind of have to be conscious about how you're putting these Tech screws in. You don't want to put the Tech screw up top here because the plastic's rubbing it. So you want to make sure, I always put them right here into the side. And then what we'll do is we'll come through here and we'll set this center, and then we'll put a Tech screw through to these here, and that will hold that together. There you go. Now that the Tech screw's in, this will not pull out. And you want to make sure, like I said, this is going to be the flush of the wall here. If you did have any extra and you already took the Tech screw, you could either take it out and reposition it, or you could actually cut the end of this pipe here. So I'm going to leave it loose so we can move it. And then as we put the rest of the purlins down the line, we're going to have one person stand, and then they're going to tell us which way we need to move this, so we can move this pipe over before we position it permanently. So that way you're not making this purlin crooked. All right, guys, with that last little Exeter video, I realized maybe I need to bring this in a little bit to try to explain my point on a closer table here. So what I did is I have two end pieces of the purlin bracket that we did not use. We cut this down to fit. So just pretend these are the full sections of purlin that you're going to get with the kit. You're going to need a 1/2-inch wrench or a socket. I like to use the ratchet wrench. Self-explanatory there. And both types of brackets. You're going to have the end brackets. You're going to get two of these, or what I like to call the J style brackets. And then you're going to get the ones you need for your kit depending on the length of your high tunnel. And then I'll just call these the U brackets just to make it easier on us. So what you're going to do is you're going to lay at least 2 pieces of purlin out, because that'll give you a good amount, and that's easy for 2 people on ladders to move around. So you're just going to put your purlin together, and that's going to be on the ground, and you are going to take one of your Tech screws, and you are going to put a Tech screw in. Now this is what I was getting at. What I like to do is I like to lay my 2 pieces, put a Tech screw in, and then I always tell myself that Tech screw should be facing the ground. So if the purlin was up here, I want that tech screw to be at the bottom facing the ground. And what that's going to do is if there is any chance for any type of weather or snow load or wind to hit that plastic, it does not rub on that tech screw. If it rubs on that tech screw, it's bound to put a hole in that plastic. And then when I put this purlin into my brackets, I make sure I turn it so the tech screw is facing down. So let's just assume we've already done that. So now we are at the end of our tunnel here. And what I was explaining to you was the J bracket. So, okay, so just pretend this is our purlin that's on our high tunnel, and we are going to have our hoops right here. So what you do is you take this bracket here, and it will literally just lay on top of a piece of pipe like this. So it's going to lay on your pipe, and you are going to put your purlin into this like that. So your purlin is going to sit just like this. So your purlin is going to sit like that. You're going to go ahead and take a tech screw and screw the tech screw in here at the bottom. This is what I was getting at here. And then you can come in with a screw on this side here. And all that's going to do is stabilize that end post. So once you get one side of your high tunnel, which I like to start on the back and then move forward. Once you get that straight up and down and level and parallel, then you can move forward to the front of the high tunnel and then set all the rest of them. What I like about the Bootstrap Farmer Kit is these ground posts are 4 feet from each other in the ground. And what that does is a couple things. It gives you stability, and it's also ease of installation. It's easier to be on a ladder manipulating 4-foot distance than a 5-foot or a 6-foot distance. It may not sound like a lot, but when you're on a ladder and you're trying to reach out, the 4-foot distance is a lot easier for you to grab with your hands. So we've got that purlin on the end. You've got 2 pieces together. Now we've got a purlin, and we need to attach it to another poles. You are going to put one of these brackets on your hoop to attach this purlin. So this is going to come in 2 pieces. I've got it together for video purposes, nut and bolted together. This is going to go on your pole just like this. Your purlin is going to ride in the center of this, and what you are going to do is you're going to tighten this up with your ratcheting wrench, just like that. So this is what this is going to look like. Can you guys see that clearly? This is what that's going to look like. So just pretend this is your purlin, this is your hoop, this is how it's going to ride just like this, and it's going to be this way all the way down until you get to the end. Put another one of these J braces with the end of your purlin. We'll go outside and I will show you what that looks like completed, but I thought maybe this would be easier for me to show you on the ground here so you guys can get a better perspective of this. So let's go out to the high tunnel and check it out. All right, guys, we got a little wind today, so hopefully you guys can hear me. This plastic's doing a little moving, so I'm going to try to do it quick here. I've got the purlin set up now. As you can see every 4 foot, every one of those purlin brackets, and that's exactly what I was showing you there on the table, how those are set up close. So hopefully that answers any of your questions. If you guys are looking for further content from me, you can check me out on Instagram and YouTube at Kansas Garden Guy. Thanks for watching.